for the game against Villarreal. And first up, we are going to be talking about Vicario. Sixes all round for Vicario, and didn't really have much to do. The one moment that looked dodgy for him, he punched, but a cross comes in, he does like a punch, which wasn't the best punch, falls to a Villarreal player, who I think Buchanan, who ultimately hit over the bar. But apart from that, yeah, I mean, he didn't have a shot on target against him, so not like he didn't really have any, literally didn't have a save to make.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll add to that is the one thing that I wasn't happy with this game is there was that one goal kick that it was a P roller and he went into a dangerous part in the middle of our ground. Obviously, we all know his distribution isn't the greatest, but that was one bad moment. But like I said, goalkeeper had absolutely nothing to do.
Yeah, exactly. So that's credit, obviously, to our backline. Next up, Pedro Porro. Both gave him 7s. Yeah, look, I think he did. I think he dealt with Buchanan pretty well. I felt down that left-hand side. It was a bit of a surprise to see Buchanan down the left because I'm pretty sure he usually plays on the right. But yeah, I think it was a good display going forward. Put in some nice crosses, but obviously nothing really came of them. I thought defensively he was pretty good. I think to be honest, they look more dangerous down the other side, but not much really to shout about.
Yeah, do you know what? With Pedro Porro, he got done once or twice with Buchanan just with a little bit of showboating and got past him. But do you know what? Yesterday, the biggest thing I was impressed with him was his defensive work. The amount of things he broke down and started trying to like bomb forward with the ball. He looked dangerous going forward, but he was a lot sharper defensively than he has been. And I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. I did say I wanted to see Spence. I think you and I have both discussed. I thought that game would be better for Spence, but Porro had a very good game yesterday.
Yeah, 100%. Next up, Romero. I gave him a 7. Brian a bit lower on a 6. To be fair, there were some very sloppy passes in there from Romero a couple of times, especially in that second half where he did put us under pressure. I did feel by and large, apart from those moments, pretty accomplished, pretty happy with him. And I think defensively was pretty great. Although, again, you're right, he did make that mistake, didn't he? Which led to the Buchanan chance. So maybe I was a bit generous with a 7. But I don't think it was a shocker by any means. So I was probably a bit generous. But yeah, what do you think about him, Romero?
But listen, he did have a shocker, but that's how you started. It was his passing. Mm-hmm. We've been waxing lyrical about how vital and how good his passing is. And it's become such a key focus point and part of our game. And yesterday, I just think it was a bit off. Defensively, him and Van der Ven, the partnership is, we know how good it is when they're fit. But I just think his passing let him down yesterday.
Yeah, and that mistake as well when he let the ball bounce with a long ball over the top. Got to be dealing with that. And luckily, Buchanan missed and nothing came of it. Next up, Van der Ven. Both gave him 8s. For me, probably my man of the match. Brilliant display at the back there. Saved Tottenham when it looked like Mikatadze was through one-on-one and he kind of took one for the team, fouling him, got a yellow card for his troubles. But I think by and large was phenomenal at the back. They really struggled to get past him. One piece of bad play in the middle where he sloppily gives the ball away to a Villarreal midfielder and sets him up on an attack, which Pepe ended up shooting just wide. But apart from that, near faultless display from Van der Ven, and I thought probably our man of the match for me.
Yeah, it was my man of the match as well. I think Mickey Van der Ven, obviously we heard when he's not playing the high line, is he that good of a defender when he hasn't got to use his pace? Well, I have been so impressed with him this season. I really have. He's had to use his pace occasionally, but his defending, and especially yesterday, and he was trying to get forward as well. He weren't happy with sometimes with the way we're playing in midfield and tried to drive the ball forward. I think he's been pretty much flawless this season in that partnership. I really am so impressed with him, and he's not having to use the last-ditch defending all the time. I think he is going from strength to strength. So he's definitely man of the match for me.
Yeah, 100%. Next up, Jed Spence. I gave him a 6. Brian gave him a 5. Again, with Spence, I think he was fine. I just don't like the dynamic of him and Simmons. I don't like them both kind of taking up the same areas. I also feel when he's going down the line and he's asked to do cutbacks on his left foot, he doesn't seem so comfortable doing that. He likes to be on his right foot. Defensively, fine, but Pepe did get a couple of shots away. I don't think that's totally his fault, because I think both of them we were caught cold from kind of sloppy play. But I did think they looked a bit more dangerous down Spence's side. But I didn't think he had a bad game, to be honest. I gave him a 6.
So I agree with what you say, especially with Xavi. I'd love to see Destiny get some minutes. We need to give him some minutes now. But the reason I marked him down 1 is there was a moment in the first half where he thought the ball was going out for a corner, and he just literally, his concentration switched off as he thought it was rolling out, and he was literally, I don't even know if you'd say a jog or a slow walk, and the player just whizzed past him and got the ball, and that could have been very, very dangerous. In the Champions League, you switch off like that, it could be a big problem. So I think it was his poorest performance this season, but it was his concentration levels. And like you said, more joy came down that side than Porro's, and not the best performance for me for Spence.
Fair. Next up, Rodrigo Bentancur. I gave him a 7. Brian gave him a 6. I thought a pretty good display in the 6, considering I think every game so far when he's played next to Palhinha, so he has taken up the responsibility in this game. I thought he did pretty well for a lot of it. Defensively, quite strong in the challenge. A couple of sloppy passes in there, but by and large was pretty safe with his passing. Didn't have too many complaints about it. I thought he had a pretty solid display, Bentancur.
Yeah, the only reason I've marked him down 1 compared to you is literally the passing. He was like the experienced one in that midfield, and I would have expected better from him. But I will say, and I love it when he does it, his change of direction, when you think he's going one way and he's got a couple of players around him, and then he just pirouettes and then he's gone in the other direction. He's brilliant at that, and he's brilliant doing it defensively as well. Where players say don't mess about with the ball like that. Mm-hmm. He's got great confidence in his ability, and that he did superbly well. But his passing was just off for me, and that goes for a lot of them. But I wanted more from him as the most experienced player, a midfielder on the pitch.
Next up, Lucas Bergvall, 8 all round for me. Yeah, best midfielder, best outfield player. He was another strong display. Got man of the match by UEFA. I thought he was, I wouldn't say lucky to get it, because I think he played well, but I don't know if I think Van der Ven was better than him. But I thought he was the one midfielder asking different kind of questions of the Villarreal team. There was one moment in the second half where Kudus passes it to him, and he takes one look over his shoulder and just does a little chop into the area and pulls a pass back, and that was a really nice moment. I think he had a fine game. Obviously set up the goal that ultimately made a difference, albeit was a big strike of luck. I think Bergvall, he's such an exciting talent. I'm delighted for him as well, because he had a tough pre-season after that injury, and it's not been easy for him to get back in the team and get back to his best. But we are seeing him getting back to his best now, and yeah, you can't really leave him out. Frank said after the West Ham game, he said he couldn't leave him out. He just couldn't leave him out for this one. So I wonder if he's now a fixture in the team again. Yeah,
I mean, he's going from strength to strength in the last couple of games, isn't he? And do you remember in the first half as well, the bit of skill he did when we were on the break, and he literally just stood on the ball and then back flicked it when it looked like the Villarreal were going to get it. It was a lovely bit of showboating. His confidence is growing. His stature is growing, and I think you can see he's putting in a lot more solid performances all around the pitch than just sideways passing, as people were saying. I think he is going from strength to strength, and we have a real player on our hands in that man.
Yeah, absolutely. What a talent we have in Lucas Bergvall. Next up, Pape Sarr. I gave him a 7. Brian gave him a 6. Had that one effort on goal, didn't he? Forcing a save out of the Villarreal keeper. Yep. I think he did a decent job. I can't remember, to be honest, off the top of my head, too much he did from a kind of, offensively, apart from that one shot. I think he provided a good base, and he's got so much energy about him. I think Frank relies on him to just get around the pitch and stop moves and things like that. But I thought it was a decent display.
You know what it is? I think why I've given him a 6 as well is he has set such high standards this season with his performances. They've been of such a high caliber that this one, again, this was a team collective in all honesty. But compared to how he's performed this season, I just don't think he was there. And again, his passing occasionally was sloppy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, to be fair. Like a lot of the players. Next up, Xavi Simons. 6s all round for him. Again, that left-hand side, I don't think does him many favours, in all honesty. I still think his best work comes when he's coming centrally. I think the link-up, the dynamic between him and Spence isn't quite right. I think he struggles at times. Was lucky not to be sent off as well. But he did look bright on occasion and looks to create some chances, looks to be creative. I just think he's a bit wasted out there on the left.
Yeah, I think in the first half he was actually I thought he was very bright. I thought you can see he oozes confidence. Some of his flicks, some of his passes, you can see the quality that is there. And I think in the first half he was making quite a bit of an impact. And if anything was going to happen, it was going to happen through him. But in the second half, who knows? Maybe it's catching up with him starting in the new league. Maybe it's getting used to his teammates and it will come in time. But in the second half, like the team, we just slowed down. And like I said, very lucky not to be sent off.
Yeah. Next up, Mohamed Kudus. I gave him a 7. Brian gave him a 6. Seems to be a bit of a theme here. I think Kudus was for me the brightest spark in the attack. He was one most likely to make something happen and you know, create a chance. Or he never really looked like scoring, but he looked like a most creative player. It was a fairly frustrating display from Kudus in terms of his delivery was sometimes very, very poor. He did nearly lay one off for Richarlison, though, who decided to handle the ball instead of go for it with his head, the ball just a bit in front of him. And that was a bit of a shame because that was a really good cross from Kudus. I think when he was taking on his man, he was doing quite a good job, but yeah, the quality at the end of it was missing, to be honest. Very kind of haphazard quality at the end of his dribbles. I think, again, he's got so much to give, Kudus. We expect more. But I think, in general, he was our brightest attacker.
Yeah, I think this time I might have been a bit harsh. And maybe I should have given him a 7, in all honesty. But like I said, what I loved about, even in the first half, he was popping up on the left as well, wasn't he? He was heavily involved and taking on his player. He's brilliant at. He's he'll beat his man one-on-one all the time. You just got great confidence in him doing it. It's just the delivery for Richarlison was incredible. That cross was insane for the header, but there just wasn't many like that yesterday. But I do think maybe I was a bit harsh and maybe I should have given him a 7 there.
And next up, Richarlison, 5s all round. Disappointing from Richarlison, to be honest. There was some moments where there was definitely a moment in that second half where we could have really been on the attack and he plays this ball inside to, I think, Sarr, which would have been a very easy ball to play. And he just played it very lazily and sloppily and was very disappointing. Struggled to get involved in the game. I don't remember too many things he had. He had a shot that went into the side netting in the first half. Could have had a penalty, but maybe would have been soft. What did you think of that penalty decision, Brian?
Yeah, it would have been soft. It would have been soft. Listen, it's one of those that when it's for you, you'd give it all the time. But if it went against us, we would be going on tonight or today and going absolutely mental at crap refereeing, whatever. But do you know what I will say with Richarlison? Yes, he did get into the action, but do you know what? I'm not putting all of the blame at him. We saw against Burnley, we saw against Manchester City how heavily we got him involved. And when we get him into those positions, he could be a nuisance. When Kudus was whipping in those crosses, they're perfect for him, and he was able to do what he does. I don't think we're getting him involved enough. Yes, we need him to hold up the ball and do more, but do you know what? At the moment, through Solanke's injury and, as we said, Mawani not being ready to come on, we are heavily relying on a guy that we need to wrap in cotton wool because he can break down at any moment. Yes, he needs to improve, but I do think we are not using him or getting into positions to best suit him either.
Fair. Next up, Destiny Udogie, 6s. This was a first substitute. I think he had a pretty decent cameo. Nothing too special. I think filled in for Spence pretty well. Down that left-hand side, added a bit of energy. But, yeah, nothing too much to shout about.
Yeah, I mean, what I did like is obviously he got the free kick when he went on that run. He offers so much power and pace and going forward, and when he's in full flight, he is a monster to try and stop. He is so powerful, so strong. I want to see him get more minutes. Now, whether that means Spence goes to the right or Porro remains at the right, I don't know. Like you said, for the balance, maybe with Xavi, it'll be good. But I think I want to see. I do want to. I would rather he starts against Brighton. I think he definitely starts against Doncaster without foul for the 90 minutes. But hopefully we can start getting Destiny some more game time and being able to rest your Porros and your Spence to keep them fresh. He looked bright when he came on, but there was nothing really much he had to do defensively, was there?
No. Yeah, he was pretty comfortable there. I think, Pepe kind of became less of a threat as well once he came on. And finally, of the players, we've got João Palhinha. I gave him a 7, Brian gave him a 6. I thought it was a good cameo from him. Just helped shore things up. And he came on at a time where we looked like we were losing control. And he seemed to just regain that control for us and allowed us to get a bit higher up the pitch. So I think it was a good cameo from him. Really helped solidify the team. So, gave him a 7.
Yeah, I think, again, I should have given him a 7. He did come in and make things a lot calmer. And to tell you the truth, if I was anyone in power at Tottenham Hotspur, I would be phoning Bayern Munich up now and saying, right, let's make this permanent. Whether he stays and becomes a permanent player for 2 years, he's just an incredible player at what he does and could be a great mentor and person for the youngsters to look up to and say, right, this is how I want to conduct myself, and the knowledge he'll pass down. I think he's been a fantastic addition, and if I had anything to do with that, I would be making that permanent as soon as possible.
And the manager, Thomas Frank, we both gave him 7s. Look, first Champions League game, got another clean sheet. Wasn't the best performance. I think Frank even admitted that after the game, which I like. Again, he's taking responsibility. He doesn't just gloss over it and everything's okay. He acknowledges bad performance, but there are positives when it comes to defence. No goals conceded again, another clean sheet, no shots on target conceded. So I think he has a right to be happy about that. But I also think, he's got to find a way to get us better on the ball and be a more functional kind of open team from open play, creating more chances, and that's going to make us more likely to win games. But I think he managed the game fairly well. I think the subs were right. I like the selection as well. I just think he's got to kind of get... He's kind of got to get more out of that dynamic between Simmons and Spence. I'm not sure it's correct. I don't know if... Look, he says himself it's only the second game they've played together, so maybe he has a point. Let's just be a bit more patient. But at the moment, it doesn't seem to be working. I think overall, got a few complaints.
Exactly. Look, 3 points, clean sheet. Again, another game we get through without any injuries or picking up any knocks or anything. We move on to Bodo away. We're in a strong position. We're in a strong place as a club right now. And his first game of the Champions League, winning a clean sheet.
Happy days. Those are our player ratings. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the ratings and if you agreed or disagreed, who you agreed with more. Let me know in the comment section below. But that is it for our player ratings.